But today we must take a wider look. Because of modern communication and modern technology, the whole world has become our neighborhood. And we are demographically moving closer and closer to each other, and we've become a neighborhood without becoming a brotherhood.
Journeyman is a platform where men can lay down their titles, grow together, learn from each other, and be accountable to each other. Many of us deal with several problems throughout our lives, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. At times, we may feel alone in our troubles. However, Journeyman is a space where you can feel safe expressing yourself with other men that are on the same path. Journeyman is a space for people like myself who never thought they would be living purposefully in their life.
Hey, all right, man.
Hello, everybody.
Good evening.
Hello, everybody.
Man, this is Forrest, Frank, and Caleb Gordon. This is the jam. This is the season. Let that
God is good.
Time. All right.
It's going to blow up the speakers.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can hear okay. If you can do us a favor, make sure you just comment, give me a thumbs up or something inside the comments, and let us know that all is good and everything is working fine. But man, Patrick, how you doing, man? How you doing? Welcome to Sharpen. We're back. We're back.
Yeah,
in the
we're
studio.
back. Yeah, everything's well. Everything's well. It's amazing. The things that we talk about in our subjects for the next month.
Yeah.
It's so amazing how we go through something leading up to that talk. Where you go, oh, okay, before I talk on this, I probably have to go through something, for this. And so today's episode, it's just us.
Yeah.
It's just us.
Let's give ourselves a big round of applause, man. We are here.
Now listen, before you guys turn it off,
yes.
and before you guys just swipe to something else,
right?
This is literally just me and Jose. If we were sitting at a coffee shop together.
Right.
But these are the conversations. I mean, hopefully this one goes well.
Yeah.
But these are the conversations that I've seen that are the most beneficial, the most, uplifting.
Yeah.
You get the most out of these just one-on-ones, and that's what we're doing with Journeyman. Yes, we host events,
right?
But really, it's not about the events. It's about the meetings after the events.
Yeah.
Hey, let me get your number, man.
Right.
Let's do lunch. Let's do coffee, and let's fellowship. Let's connect.
Yes.
And these are the times. So this is we'll see how this goes. You guys stay tuned.
Stay tuned, man. Don't turn the page, but do us a favor. Hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, and the like button, and share this with your contacts. If you're watching on Facebook, man, do us a favor. Share this with your networks. Let's get the word out. This is the season of thankfulness, man. And myself and Patrick, man, we have a lot to be thankful for across the years, man. I just turned 44, so I'm thankful for that.
He hobbled in here.
I just did, man. I just said that.
He hobbled in here. he makes more noise when he sits down now.
Yeah.
And he's going to make even more noise when he stands up.
All right. That's good. That's a good way to put it. I seen that. But man, it's been a crazy month, man. October was a busy month, man, for me and my family. And man, it's just now we're in November, and I'm like, oh my gosh, where'd the year go?
Yeah.
So it's been a crazy thing. But man, Sharpen is here again. This is a podcast for men that is really just the title to sharpen men across the world. If you're tuning in again on Facebook, do us a favor. Share this out with your networks, and let's get the word out, man. Maybe someone needs to hear what has been done or what has been talked about here on one of these podcasts. And we have over 34 episodes.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow.
34 episodes. And they're on Spotify, they're on YouTube, and here on our Facebook channel as well. And man, you can go back and just kind of reflect on some of the men that are living the mission of Journeyman. And man, we just hope that this podcast has blessed y'all, has helped you in some form of way, knowing that we're just screwed up men on a journey to be better in the areas of faith, family, and community. That's what
you can go for a walk, put your headphones on and take a listen. You get at the gym, you're around cleaning the house, whatever it may be, going for a long drive.
Yes.
Check them out. There's so many nuggets in those. I go back and listen to them.
Yes.
I go back and listen. I've gotten so much from them.
Mhm.
But tonight, our title is thankfulness.
Yeah.
Thankfulness and gratitude. And so Jose said, hey, let's do an episode just around Thanksgiving time, just me and you, about thankfulness. And the Holy Spirit kind of fell on my heart to say not just thankfulness, but thankfulness during the storms of life. And actually, thankfulness after those storms.
Yeah.
And so that's what we entitled it, Thankfulness Through the Storms, In and Out of Life. And so we're going to share a couple stories. I asked Jose, what are you going to share? He's like, I don't know. I'm going to let the Spirit.
You go
and,
first.
And you go first. And if anybody's heard any of our podcasts, Jose has definitely shared. I've definitely shared.
Yeah.
We try to be funny, keep it humorous and stuff like that. But we get those guests that come in here. I'll go back and look, and our mouths are dropped.
Yes.
Like we can't even believe what we're hearing,
Yes.
and to hear what some of these people have been through.
Mm-hmm.
But going to these events and having these events, it's safe,
Yes.
non-judgmental,
Yes.
and we're able to be transparent.
Yes.
Where else in your community and where else in your life can you go to a safe place, transparent, and
Yes.
what was the third one I said? Anyway. And so that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to be a little bit transparent with y'all, and it's not to air dirty laundry.
Right.
It's about to show you the one that cleaned it up.
That's right. Yes.
And so,
the beautiful thing about what we're about to talk about is just really you can just see the journey across our lives, right? Like I think that's a lot of men don't reflect on their life from the times of crushing to the times of joyful moments, the times you had a son or a daughter, or the crushing moments of divorce or things of that sort, right? We don't recognize and we don't really reflect because sometimes we're just so busy wrapped up in life that we forget to be thankful.
Yeah.
And because thankfulness shows a form of gratitude towards where we were to where we are now.
Yeah.
And so Patrick, man, so let's dive in a little bit, man. What is something that is reflected on your life right now to be thankful for, man?
I am thankful, I am thankful to have, none of my family right now, my immediate family, my wife and my kids, there's really no turmoil.
Yeah.
There's really no chaos, death, destruction, those things that we go through in our lives where we have sleepless nights, and those things that we go through in our lives where we're at the bottom of the pit. Those things we go through our lives where we can't see tomorrow. I've been there in those times. You've been there in those times. But I praise God, and I'm thankful that at this time I'm in a really good season. Monday, so today's Thursday. Monday, I got a call, and my Aunt Linda passed away in Phoenix, Arizona. Amazing pillar of our family. Shout out to Tina, Terry, Monica, and Angie, the 4 daughters, and my family over there in Phoenix. And to hear, and I was able to talk to her Monday when she was close to passing. And I talked to her a couple weeks ago. We had a great conversation before she went into surgery, and we talked about maybe what some of her wishes were. We talked about she said she's had a good life. She's okay if she stays, and she's okay if she leaves. So I was able to pray with her, and we had a great conversation. And something in my heart said this might be the last time I talk to her, but it was okay. And so my cousin Tina called me, and she was still able to hear. And so I just told her, I love you. I care about you, and we talked about the conversation we had previously, and I was able to pray for her and actually say some of the prayers that she was raised with in the Catholic Church. So I was able to pray those prayers, and from what I hear, she died not long after that. And so I'm thankful. Yes, it hurts that they're going through that, and it's not like, oh, I'm so thankful I'm not losing anybody, but you really do. If you have lost somebody, and anybody listening to this, about those times where you lost a parent, you lost a sibling, you lost a loved one. And it's just, you go into this numb robot mode, this it's like a dreamlike state.
Yeah.
The shock, you're just kind of getting by.
Right.
You know, you don't know whether to eat, you don't know whether to sleep. You know, even little things like, did I even take a shower today? It's just this crazy time when those things happen. And I'm thankful that not only that we were able to be there, but that they're there for each other too.
That's right.
And they're gonna get through this.
Yeah. I think one of the key things that you said there is that the moment of uncertainty, it almost feels like you're almost delusional, right? You lose a loved one, which is so dear to you, and man, our prayers are with you and your family and those in Arizona, man. It's a season that you need community, you need that support from one another, and that's that for me is kind of like my lifetime, man. I think one of the things that I realized over my years, I'm 44 years old. I can say I'm a little wiser now. I got a little bit of beards. And but I think for me, one of the things for me over the years, I recognize that if I have people around me during these seasons of mourning or things of that sort that I trust and that are able to speak life into these moments of death or moments of loss or mourning or whatever it is, it brings the betterment out of me. Because if I stay in isolation, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm in trouble, man. Like, for sure. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm a perfect saint. But I realize that if I don't do that, because the Bible does say, confess your sins one to another. Now, I'm not talking about, there's no level of sin. Like, there's just sin is sin. So from those moments where I realized that maybe I was going into isolation, I was probably sinning. And so that for me, I realized over the years that being around people that can help you, encourage you, support you, and even cut you up a little bit sometimes brings out the best in these situations, because you're able to explain how you feel safe, like you're able to cry at the moments without like having to worry about anything, right? Like, so again, that's really why Journeyman was created too, man. Just because for moments like this where brothers can come in and step in together into that arena, and that arena now is a season of mourning. But now you're able to kind of come alongside a brother to help them journey through that process without, because it's easy. I mean, the easy thing to do, and we can all say that the easy thing to do is just bottle it up, take it, I can do it. But in reality, you can't.
Yeah.
Nobody can.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect, right? Yeah. So I think just the main point I wanted to bring across is that community, that support during these times. So.
And it's so important to have that. It's because we're talking about isolation during these times, and it's the pendulum swings, and some people either they scream and yell, or they just shut down.
Yeah.
There's sometimes they don't know how to do this middle ground.
Yeah.
And then when you bring chaos and destruction and these horrific things that happen, they're gonna go to one side or the other. And it reminds me of I used to tell my students, it's like a 2-liter bottle of soda. If you shake it up and you open up the top, what's gonna happen? It's gonna go all over the place. And it's not only gonna get yourself messy, it's probably going to get whoever's around closest messy also. So what we have to do is take that top and just start slowly turning it, and then again and again. And after a while, you'll be able to finally take the whole cap off.
Right.
And so those little those are the conversations.
Yes.
Those are the crying moments.
Yes.
Those are the screaming into your pillow, maybe.
Yeah.
Those are the, hey, I need to get to church and just let it out.
Yeah.
Hey, those are the, hey, I need to meet with somebody. Those are the, maybe you're logging in a journal. Right. Maybe you're logging in a journal. Those are you're singing the songs to the words to the songs a little louder.
Yeah.
Those moments of
that's good.
And that will eventually you'll be able to take off the cap and not make such a mess. But if we don't have those areas to be able to do that, then you try to take it off all at once, and it's just a mess. So this is one of those spaces.
Yeah.
This is one of those spaces.
For sure, man. And it just brings me across some areas of my life where, I've been through a couple crushing moments in my life. One of them was I got married. That's not a crushing moment. That was a really good moment.
We have no editing skills
I
in
know,
here.
there's no editing.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
not the crushing
We
moment.
don't have a producer.
Okay, so let me rewind it a little bit. So I got married, and it was a beautiful change for my life, but I brought in a lot in the marriage, right? And so 5, 6 years, no, maybe longer than that, I brought in a lot of stuff. And then when the crushing moment, I lost my job. I just had my first son. We just bought our house, and the economic downturn went downhill in 2008 or so, right? I thought as a man I was successful. One, because I was being provided for my family. Two, we had our own house. Man, there was just something about that because we were living in the garage and things of that sort when we first got married. But what happened was when I lost that moment, it was a crushing for me, man. I went through some depression, again, a lot of weight. I was eating. I was watching things I wasn't supposed to be watching. I was trying to grab straws, even though I was going to church.
Wow.
Even though I was there every Sunday serving in the areas, even though I was doing all that, I was internally not healthy. And so that really crushed me in a lot of areas. But I'm super thankful, one, that I was able to be open and transparent with my wife, and she ended up stepping in these moments and being able to encourage me in these areas. And man, God made a way. He definitely did. Now, did I say that crushing moment, I was done and I'm all better now? No, it was a journey from there on. It was a journey from there on. Why? Because these things that I was dealing with, I didn't know how to deal with it. So that crushing moment came all out, and so that really kind of then, okay, that's where confess your sins came in. And then it began because the other part of that scripture says, so you can be healed.
Yeah.
And so the healing began to happen in my life by allowing myself to sit in seats and not only look myself in the mirror, but also allow other trusted people that were on this journey in my life to help me get better. And so I'm really thankful for this journey, man. This is a journey to this place, even where we're at today, from 2024, from 2017. We've been at this mission of journeyman for that long. And the mission really is about men getting better in the areas of faith, family, community, but the internal aspects of a man, you have to deal with mental clarity, physical clarity, emotional clarity, and spiritual clarity will come after all those other three have been dealt with. And so, yeah.
What did you learn from that time? What are you thankful for now, have gratitude for now because of that time?
I think the recognition of the eternal aspect of being better emotionally.
Yeah.
Because you said it just earlier, that moment, I didn't have that. Mine was like,
yeah,
and it just went all over the room, right? I didn't have that. I didn't know how to do
How many guys listening to this are nodding their heads right now?
I mean, and I'm not going to say that I'm perfect, because there's still some of that wants to come out, right? And so that's why I continue to step into this arena and say, I need to get better here. I need to get better there. Tell me how I'm doing, family, or tell me how I'm doing, brother. Just what do I need to work on? And so I think the most thing I'm thankful for is that there was a landing point, and I'm thankful that God was able to that He put me in front of my own mirror, And I still try to do that now. I still really, really try to continue to look myself in the mirror and say, where am I off?
You know, from the outside looking in, and as the elder here, as the elder
here
here,
we go, pulling the elder
elder
card.
card. I think there's something else. I think there's something else I noticed with you from that time.
Yeah.
And that is you're thankful and you have gratitude to be financially stable right now.
Yeah. Oh,
because I think, you know, hey, if anybody doesn't know, Jose's got he can make money. He's got a plan somehow, some way.
It's all God.
And so he's you know, he's he got that talent. And so I think from what I see, the thankfulness, but also I'm not doing, I was poor before.
Right.
And I struggled financially.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that again.
Right.
I learned the lesson.
True.
And I'm thankful that I was poor. I'm thankful that I lost my job. I'm thankful that I had to live out of a garage. You know why? Because I appreciate what I have now, and I appreciate the financial stability that I have now.
Yes.
And I tell you one thing, I ain't going back there.
That's right.
And I'm going to do everything to take care of my wife and my kids.
Yes.
Did I get that right? Or okay, all right. Elder card right there. Well, you know, is it my turn now?
Yeah, go okay. You prophesied.
You know, there's you know, when I was thinking about this, there's quite a few.
Yeah.
There's quite a few. My life reads like a Jerry Springer episode. I've said it before, but you know, all glory to God.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to give glory to the things that I've been through. You know, and so if anybody wants to hear any more detail, once again, take me to lunch. I always forget my wallet, and I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But at the age of 15, one story. Age of 15, April 20th of 1989, I was knocking on my older brother Anthony's door, and he was 19 years old, and he wasn't answering. And my dad was at work, my little brother was asleep, and my mom was getting ready in her bathroom shower. And so I got mad, trying to open it, knock on the door, and he wasn't answering. And his alarm clock was going off. I remember the alarm clock going off. So I went and got an old school knife, jimmy the door. Yeah. And I opened up the door, and I walked in to find my 19-year-old brother with a gunshot wound to his chest. And at some time in the night, he had killed himself. Yeah. And my brother had committed suicide. And I told the story in the podcast where I was interviewed. Yeah. But a couple things. I remember having to tell my mom, I remember having to tell my brother, I remember having to tell my dad what had happened. And I remember the ambulance driver coming in, and I'm kind of holding my mom in her room. She's going crazy, of course. And I'll never forget the ambulance. My mom said, just do something for him, do something. And the ambulance driver said, ma'am, if there was anything we could do for him, we'd be doing it right now. I'll never forget that. And, I lived, I'm 15 years old, and my parents didn't know anything about counseling. They didn't know anything about even medication or even, my mom was a Christian, but I mean, she didn't know, she didn't think to take me to church. She didn't, pray over me or anything like that. It was just chaos. Yeah. So, the standards of their son went from go to college and do this and do that to don't die, don't go to jail. Yeah. That's where the standard was set after my brother died. And so I lived a life of debauchery, I lived a life of drugs and alcohol and womanizing, and I didn't know how to hold. And another thing, I didn't know how to hold relationships because my thought process was, if you could die overnight anyways, why would I get attached to you? Yeah. Wow. And so that was a byproduct of dealing with that suicide. Yeah. And I didn't know how to hold down a job. I didn't know I lied through everything. Everything was the next hustle. I never dealt with that day. Yeah. And so because I hadn't dealt with that day, it turned into other things. However, we're going to go 10, 20, 30, 35 years later. Wow. We're going to go 35 years later. I can tell you what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful and I have gratitude that all my kids are alive.
Yeah.
And my parents had to bury their child. I can't think of a worse pain than having to bury your own child.
Mm.
I'm thankful that, when I worked for the juvenile hall, I taught the core program, the core training program for all juvenile hall staff all over California.
Yeah.
And I was able to come up with a suicide prevention curriculum.
Wow.
And so I taught that class for
Mm.
many years. The stories after teaching those classes of people, hey, I tried to take my life. Hey, I've had suicidal thoughts, or I've had somebody, commit suicide. Amazing, amazing times. The peer support program that started at probation is still going on now.
Mm-hmm.
Because of what I had been through, to be able to relate to those that had, committed suicide.
Yeah.
Just recently, a couple months ago, I started attending they call it SPEC,
Yeah.
Suicide Prevention Education Coalition,
Mm.
and it's meeting once a month and from various agencies,
Yeah.
and talk about suicide statistics. There's actually a corner there that actually gives the actual statistics of who's committed suicide recently,
Yeah.
and what county, age, um, you know, uh, nationality, what all the specific statistics, and what can we do better, and what organizations can we reach from? Everything from nonprofit, are we getting into the schools? Are we? And so it's an amazing program. So many years later,
Mm-hmm.
because of that,
Mm-hmm.
this is what's come of it, and I'm
Yeah.
thankful and grateful that God's turned this mess into a message.
Wow.
And used the tragic things in my life, to bring glory to His name.
Yeah, man. And I think that that right there, what you just said, all of our lives. I mean, both of us, we've been through some moments of uncertainty or mourning or just so much. And I think what you just said right there at the ending point is how, at least for me, I can speak for myself, how the trajectory of my life really changed is because once we surrender ourselves, something else takes over, and that's Jesus. And so for me, I am also thankful, man, the revelation truth of who the Father is in my life and how He continues to Psalms 23 me over and over. It's a really good guiding point for me, and I do believe that anchor in my life has allowed me to get through the toughest times in my life. And I mean, at this age now, I can really, really say that faith has really guided me to the levels that I'm at as a father, as a husband, as a son, and all glory to God. And I'm just thankful because I have hope. I'm thankful for that I have hope, and that hope is Jesus in my life. And even though I can say this, I mean, I wasn't always perfect. I'm not, and I'm not going to ever say that I am perfect. But there was a side of me where I was attending church and going and doing the church things and doing the works aspect of things. But eternally, I wasn't doing right for my soul, my spirit, And so those eternal moments of not healing with my spirit really kind of then allowed more crushing to happen and more things to happen. But I continue to surrender. I continue to put myself in hard places. And so I'm thankful for that courage. Man, you're looking at a dude who really didn't have any courage, man. You can ask my wife, I had somewhat of courage because, I'm an OG, homie. You mess with me, Patrick, we're going to get down, right? But I had that courage of a fight because of internal. issues.
So are you talking about a specific issue, or are you talking about just in life where God has given you the strength to get through these things? But there was a season, but
Yeah.
there was a season there though.
No, there was a season. There was a season of life situations where I had to be machismo, I guess you would say, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I think every man has been through some form of that, but it's a lot that has to do with internal things that maybe we went through in our life, right, or our family life, or what we grew up in, and we don't deal with those things, so it comes out this other way, right? It comes out like, oh, you want to get down? We'll get down. Like, what's up, Or it comes out in these things, or it comes out in this, or it comes out in other forms or fashion to get, not deal with that internal issue that you're dealing with, right? And so there was things in my life that were like that, even if I was, going to church, and I was, doing the church thing, and I was doing that, and so what really pointed it out for me, that I'm really thankful, was the revelation of the truth of the Father. Man, I'm so grateful for that, man, because now I can draw from truth. And what is truth? According to what the scripture says, it provides us that identity that maybe some of us don't really have or don't know, And not to say that you have to be a perfect saint, but there is an aspect of a man when you're healed emotionally, mentally, I'm getting there physically, but the spiritual aspect of things, when you're able to die from your flesh and raise back to life, to give that to the Father, there's something that changes. And we're not here to push religion. That's not what we're doing. We're here to introduce you to the story of each one of us. That why am I thankful right now? I'm thankful for that revelation truth, man. Yeah. And you got some fans out there, man.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's the best juvenile supervisor I ever had. Thank you, Patrick. Charming Chandler. I don't know who that is.
I'm not
Man.
sure who that is.
Out,
Yeah,
man. Thanks
shout
for
out.
watching.
Yeah, charming. that was my stage name back in the day. Another area that I want to discuss too is, thank you for sharing that, by the way. Another area I want to discuss is marriage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, once again, I know to give a marriage testimony in my older age has taught me that to give a testimony is a marriage testimony. Your wife should probably be there giving it with you,
totally.
So she can give her side, and so I don't talk about my marriage testimony in detail.
Yeah.
But there's a couple things to point out and that I'm thankful for. And once again, if you're listening to this and your marriage is just jacked up, your marriage is just, this marriage is done.
Mm-hmm.
It is it's 24 hours away from just being dead.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at your partner and say, I haven't loved you in I don't know how long. And matter of fact, I used to look at you with love, and now I look at you with disgust.
Yeah.
And if you're going through that, that would probably be second. Right. And the worst things you could go through. Well, first is losing a child. I feel this is just my opinion.
Yeah.
Is losing a child. Second is anybody who's gone through a divorce or separation or some kind of crazy drama in their marriage. My heart goes out to you. My heart literally goes out to you. And so I was married for 7 and separated for 2. And my wife and I have been back together for almost 20 years.
That's awesome.
We have marriage ministry. She's my best friend. Mm-hmm. But it was during those times where I'll never forget. I wasn't perfect in my marriage. Then I got saved. Then I gave my life to the Lord. And then she wasn't perfect in the marriage. And my prayer during that time was for her not to return to me. During those times, so when we were separated, I would pray every day, Lord, I don't want her to return to me.
Yeah.
I want her to return to you. And I would pray that every day. And I was separated. I was in an apartment. I had a house. I had my own house. I was a family man.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, not out of nowhere, but over time, during the separation, I was living in a 2-bedroom apartment with my 3 kids.
Yeah.
And my life was just done. I remember just staring at the ceiling, like it can't get any worse. And it did get worse. You know, I remember one day I got a phone call, and I tell people all the time that I was at the bottom of the pit.
Yeah.
And one day I got a phone call, and I found out that the bottom of the pit had a basement, and it got even worse. And, you know, during that time, this is what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that I went through that in this sense. You know, I had a girlfriend since I was 11 years old, or been attached to somebody since I was, 11 or 12 years old.
Yeah.
And so I never knew what it was like to be alone.
Yeah.
I always had somebody,
Mm-hmm.
you know, whether it's in a relationship or somebody to talk to or somebody just to hang out with. I just was always that guy.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I was separated, I was truly alone. And some people listening out there right now, when was the last time you were absolutely positively alone?
Right.
I mean, alone. I'm not talking about, you know, side chick or side dude or anything like that. I'm talking about seriously, it's just me.
Yeah.
And my hats off to you if you're able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But for 2 years, I didn't date, I didn't mess around, I didn't do any of those things. I would tell people I have time for God and my kids right now. That's all I have. And so if we never got a divorce, and people like, man, it's over. Why don't you just get a divorce? I said, you know, when God tells me it's time to get a divorce, I'll get a divorce.
Yeah.
But right now, I just have time for God and my kids. But it taught me to be alone. And it taught me sometimes you don't realize God's all you need until God's all you have.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And so I found that peace. And so when me and my wife eventually got back together, it's an amazing story. If anybody wants to hear it, it's an amazing story. I didn't get back with her because I had to.
Yeah.
I got back with her because I wanted to.
Right.
You know, and so I'm thankful for those seriously dark years.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful that I had faith in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because with suicide, going back to my brother committing suicide, anybody who's gone through suicide or heard somebody or had a family member commit suicide, that becomes an option.
Right.
If you've never been through that, it's never an option.
Right.
But when somebody like your dad kills themselves, or mom, or a brother, or a cousin, now that's actually an option. Yeah. And I remember during those dark times, these just moments of suicide, suicidal thought. Mm-hmm. It would just pass by, and I had the opportunity to catch it. Yeah. But I would just let it. I said, Lord, there is no glory to your name if I do this. Yeah. There is no glory to your name. Mm-hmm. And so I pray, I'm thankful. The reason we're having this conversation is, what are you thankful for during those times? And so I'm thankful that I learned what it was like to be alone. Mm-hmm. And I learned what it was like to take 100% trust in God. So true. Because so many times, oh, you're a Christian now? Yeah. Hey, good for you. Yeah. Hey, whatever works for you. Oh, Jose, whatever, Patrick, whatever works for you. Yeah. And actually, your life was jacked up and you got busted, so that's why you gave your life to the Lord. Or you hear somebody, oh, I went to jail, or I got sick, or whatever. Then it hit the fan, then I gave my life to the Lord. Right. But it's only for those people, that was the answer. Yeah. Not just then, but it's the answer for, well, at least for me, 30-something years later. Yes. And so I'm thankful for that time. I'm very thankful for those dark years.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I think there's been a lot of men out there that have similar dark times. But how do we react to that, right? Is it the blow up of the Coke bottle, the Sprite bottle, whatever that is, or is it the smooth turns? And so I'm hoping that these episodes of Sharpen begin to help you understand how to navigate that. Like, we're trying to give you journeyman virtually. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to portray that to men out there who watch this or who listen to this, to say, you know, you're looking at some people that have been on this podcast and maybe went through some things, that maybe dealt with certain things, that maybe look like you, that talk, you know, now this is how they journey through that. And so the hopes is that you're sharpening your life. You're listening, you're engaging, you're being more open to be able to kind of like get better, right? And so, man, I'm thankful for Journeyman, man. Yeah, I'm thankful for Journeyman, man. Yeah. Like, I mean, Journeyman is a name, but I'm thankful for all the men that have said yes and have stepped into this.
Brother, listen. I know our views aren't those of Joe Rogan.
We're getting there, man.
No, they're not.
There.
No, they're not even Jose Rogan. And so people, the likes and the views, and you know what? That is so that, and we're the only ones that watch this tonight. By the way, and Nick, shout out, man. I see you on there now. Yeah, Nick, man, what a great student. I have nothing but amazing things to say about that young man. And hopefully we'll connect again. He's a great student. It's not about that.
No.
The stories.
Yes.
The connections.
Yes.
The transformations in lives and that Journeyman has seen over the past few years, and especially over the last year. Not even a year. It was since June. Since June.
Yeah.
Are absolutely, positively, without a doubt, unexplainable.
Yeah.
So some of them are just absolutely unexplainable. And so, why do we call it Journeyman? Because men on a journey just didn't fit on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
So it's not a title. And so we've all done the church thing, and we've all done the groups and the let's read this book and then talk about it.
Yes.
And what you guys are seeing right now, this is something that me and Jose, we would be at a coffee shop doing this right now, or digging into some wings, even though we probably shouldn't be eating that, and that we're just kind of talking, hey, what you've been through, what I've been through. And we have to break this stereotype that this is for sissies.
Yes.
And that this is for you're soft.
Yeah.
And it's not about that.
No.
It's not about that, because if you look at somebody, like you were
I
saying,
can't hear you, man.
if you look at somebody and like you were saying, I had to be tough.
Yeah.
I had to be about the macho man.
Yeah.
Man, that's just a mask.
That's a mask.
That's just a mask. I'm not worried about that, dude. I'm not worried about you better say, watch your mouth and do what I say. I'm not worried about that. That's a wall.
Yes.
That's a wall that's been put up. But I will say this, that's a wall that's been put up to protect that person.
Correct. Yeah.
And so there's something to be said about putting up walls to protect.
Correct.
For a season.
Right.
But walls, they protect, but they also hide.
That's right.
And so Journeyman isn't saying break down those walls.
No.
We're not saying break down those walls. We're just saying just lower them a little bit.
Stop hiding.
Let's just lower them a little bit, and now we can have these conversations.
Yeah.
Did you have another story?
Yeah. No, I just want to kind of jump in as far as the reason why Journeyman was created is because we've seen a plethora of men, and even men in faith, falling in a sense, like losing over lust, losing over mental health issues, losing family dynamic, and so we were in a space where I had confronted my pastor at the time, and we had a conversation. I just told him, I said, what are we doing with men in the church? And at that time we had some men leaders, but it was about men's breakfast and another men's worship service, and those things are great. And it was another Bible study, but and those are great. I'm not knocking those, but I asked the question. I said, what about this person? Why do they fall? What about that person? And these are people who are preaching, people who are up on the pulpit or who are ministers or whatever. And I said, why don't we do something else? And I had this God-given idea of creating a space for men where we come in and we sit around the table and we have conversation around the areas that we don't want to step into the arena about. And a lot of it has to do with commitment and accountability surrounding areas that we're weak in. And those areas, we come out tough, right? Because we don't want to touch those. And so, man, I'm grateful for that vision, that opportunity that my pastor just said, yeah, go for it. And it got so big to a place where it was time for it to grow. And now we're at this place of like a community wide, and I asked, people from Fresno, people from the Bay Area, there's a lot of connections towards journeymen. Why? Because there's a need for men to step into the arena of commitment and accountability for themselves, not for us. I mean, we don't get paid to do this. We don't get paid to come here and do podcasts. Or, I mean, we don't have the revenue to come in at all.
If I found out that you're getting paid for this and I wasn't, we're going to have you guys are going to see a legit fight on camera.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's obviously it's sharpening me, each other. We're sharpening each other, but also we hope that these podcasts are giving you some nuggets or some tools to be like, man, I got to think about that in my life.
Nick just put on the screen. Sometimes when it feels like things are falling apart.
Yeah.
Wait, you just hit it right
there
now.
You go. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes when things are falling apart, they're actually falling into place.
That's
and
right.
so little things like that.
Yeah.
And like I said at the last podcast, we had an event, and the guy from Fresno.
Yeah.
I forget his name, but he's like, hey, I remember something was said on the podcast.
Yeah.
I remember exactly where I was standing, exactly where the parking lot I was in,
Yeah.
and exactly the time.
Wow.
And I'm going to repeat that for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'm just staring at him. All right. I have no idea I don't know what part, but hey, brother, bless you, knock yourself out.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I remember that. I said, okay. And so it's those things.
Yeah.
We have a couple minutes, but
what else are you thankful for?
I am thankful. I'm thankful my kids were raised with grandparents.
Yeah.
I didn't really know my grandparents on I did my grandmother on my dad's side, but on my mom's side, was far and few in between.
Yeah.
And I'm really thankful for my parents being these amazing grandparents to my kids in their younger years. My dad was, he was pretty rough and authoritative.
Yeah.
And then when he had grandkids, any grandpas listening to this probably relate. When he had grandkids, he totally changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he would just be so kind and holding them and doing whatever for them. And, they do something bad, he wouldn't even yell at them. And I'm like, where were you when I was growing up?
Right.
What happened to you? Where's that grandpa? And where's that dad?
Yeah.
And, I was able to, when my dad passed in 2012, I went to the house, December of 2011, and I went to the house, and he got, just stopped by after work, and he was on the phone, and he looks at me, and he gets off the phone. He's just kind of like, okay. And he looks at me and my mom, and he says, I have cancer. And my mom and me, started crying, and we were like, hey, we're gonna get through this. And he said they want to do surgery in 10 days.
Yeah.
And he was a bigger guy.
Yeah.
And I said, Dad, I don't feel like you're able to get through this surgery. You've had a couple and you didn't do so well with those. And this is a major surgery, it's colon cancer. And he says, well, I have 10 days to live. Let's live it up. So we had an early Christmas, and he used to do magic shows. So little magic show. And then he was with the grandkids, and we took pictures. And sure enough, he had the surgery and went into a coma. He came out of the coma for a few weeks, but then went back into the coma. And, from the time he got the phone call to the funeral, it was about 4 weeks.
Wow.
But I'm thankful, and I was able to watch my dad take his last breath.
Yeah.
I'm thankful not only that I was able to be there when my dad took his last breath, but that my kids had spent so much amazing time with the man that he eventually became.
Yes.
With the man he eventually became.
That's a good one, man.
That wasn't the dad that I was raised with. I had nothing against. My dad was funny. He was, we took trips. He did say I love you. I didn't have one of those get beat every 5-minute dads.
Right.
However, there was a change when my kids were born. So as a grandpa, like I said, I said it before, I remember being at the funeral, and there's some family there that hadn't been there for a while. I hadn't seen for a long time. And so people were getting on the microphone like, he did this and he did that. He was so sweet. He was so nice. And he'd give you his last dollar and the shirt off his back. And he was always with the kids. And I remember looking at some family members like, say what? Hey, they were looking around.
It's like the Joe Rogan. Whoa!
They're looking around. Are we at the right funeral? Because I don't even know what man they're talking about.
Yeah.
a few years ago,
Yeah.
my mom gets brain cancer,
Mm.
and they told her she had 3 months to live, and she ended up living for a year.
Wow.
Once again, anybody who has taken care of a parent, anybody who is taking care of somebody terminally ill, somebody that you just have to be there day and night, or you're in a hospital and somebody's in a hospital for a long time. My heart goes out to you. It is something that nobody can relate to unless they've been there.
Right.
And during that time, it was just me and my brother, so we take shifts.
Yeah.
And it came very naturally to him because he's just he's a caregiver anyways.
Yeah.
And for me, it was really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like taking care of my mom, and we're boys.
Mm-hmm.
But I pray. I'm thankful for that time. Not only did she live a whole year, but the goodbyes, the storytellings, the getting things ready.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't have that. Some people die overnight.
Yeah.
And they don't have that time to actually to talk through these times. And I'm thankful.
Yeah.
I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to have that year with my mom. Some of the hardest times in my life during that time, 2021 was just one of those years. But looking back, I'm thankful and grateful that we were able to say goodbye like that.
Yeah.
I'm thankful and grateful that for the life that we have now.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful and grateful to be able to tell brothers, hey, your mom and dad are still alive?
Yeah.
Give them a call.
Yeah.
No, we're funking right now. Brother, give them a call, man.
Yeah.
Just even if they don't appreciate it,
Yeah.
give them a call. Shoot them a text. Stop by.
Yeah.
Your parents are still alive.
Right.
I don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thankful for that opportunity to be able to say that to them.
Man. Well, Patrick, I think that's going to end the podcast, man, because there's something that you just said that I believe that every man needs to hear is that moment of the funeral where everybody was saying this about your dad, saying this about, man, he's so good with the kids, so good. What else? What else was there? You remember?
Oh yeah, he'd give the last dollar of the shirt off his back.
Yeah.
He always a place to stay.
Mm.
He was just that guy.
So that guy is how we should be right now. That guy, for every man that you're listening to this podcast, and we hope that guy, Patrick's father, that was heard at the funeral, even though he wasn't a perfect soul, right? Everybody, we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But that guy, where he said that funeral was about his life and how he cared well for certain situations, family, the grandkids, the kids. He was there. He'll give the shirt off the back. This is why Journeyman was created, to help men get to that level. And we're thankful for that, man. It's not easy. Let me tell you, the hardest thing in life that I realized, besides stepping into the ring of marriage, is trying to get men together. That is the hardest thing. But I truly, truly believe that there is a shift for men to step into their place in the areas of faith, family, and community to get better spiritually, to get better mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially will come. If you do that, if you challenge yourself, and then maybe you're watching this podcast right now and you're dealing with something mentally, email us somehow, Journeyman Nation, one word, Journeyman Nation, MEN, nation @gmail.com. And somebody will reach out to have this conversation of what areas in your life that you need to talk about. We would love to support you on this journey. We would love to be able to just connect, because it's not about anything. We're not going to fix you. It's really the idea of you just stepping into that arena of commitment and accountability for yourself. And you will find the support of community men who are willing to say, I'm stepping into the same arena. And we're on this journey together. A journeyman, according to electrical people or people who are electricians, or those who are getting to get to that skilled level, the top level of their job. So that's the journey that we're on together, and I'm grateful.
And IG Journeyman Nation.
Yeah.
We're at Journeyman Nation. You can DM us through Journeyman Nation.
Yeah.
On the IG, and don't wait for funerals.
Yeah.
Not only to say nice things about people or what they've meant to you in their life. Again, thanks, Nick.
Yeah.
But also, don't wait for something bad to happen.
Right.
Don't wait for funerals to say something nice, and don't wait for funerals or something bad to get together.
Yes.
If there's somebody, go through your phone.
Yes.
If you're watching right now, you're listening right now, go through your phone, go through your contacts.
Yeah.
Go through your contacts. Start from A, go to Z, and just start and see what falls upon your heart. What falls upon your heart to get to that person's going to show up, and shoot them a text or shoot them a call, and just, hey, I was just thinking about you, just checking in on you. I know I haven't heard from you in a while. Maybe a family member, might be a friend. Also, men, that's a good time to start pruning.
Yes.
Who shouldn't be in your phone.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Wait, let me wink at somebody. Hey, you shouldn't be in your phone.
Yeah.
And you should be able to give you, hey, here's my code.
Yeah.
Here's everything. You should be able to hand your wife your phone like this.
Yes.
And wives, you should be able to hand your husband your phone just like this. Here's my code, and have it for an hour or 2 days if you want.
Yes.
But it'd be a good time to go through your phone and find out the people that you need to get in contact with. And we've said it before.
Yeah.
We've said it before with the phones. How many contacts do you have?
Yeah.
We hear 500,
Yeah.
600, 700. We've heard 1,500 before.
Yes.
Then we say, well, how many people in that phone would actually be there for you when it did hit the fan?
That's right.
And they go, maybe.
I have those on my important phone calls.
Maybe like 5 or 6, Patrick.
Exactly.
Okay, well, maybe you should start pruning some things in your phone. Okay, and giving out flowers, Jose. Man, this guy here, not only, hey, if it wasn't for Jose, this wouldn't happen, because I don't know anything about this unless it's unless it's Atari Pitfall. Old school players, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I know how to turn the computer on. That's about it. But in Jose's connections, and shout out to George, Emmanuel, and all the other journeymen out there that are doing amazing things for us. And I always look forward to hanging out with Jose. What you guys have seen here tonight is just two friends. Really, whether the cameras are on or not, we probably would have had the same conversation.
Yeah.
But these are the people you want to surround yourselves with. And I tell Jose, I'm retired now. I'm in my 50s, and I don't have time to just be hanging around people just to hang out. And I don't like guessing if you're my friend.
That's good. That's good.
I don't like guessing if you're my friend. You know those people like, hey, let's hang out.
Yeah.
And then you're like, man, I don't know, like what kind of mood they're gonna be in, or if it's gonna hit the fan.
Yes.
You shouldn't hang around people that you have to guess how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
You want to hang out with people that you're excited to see,
So
and that you ain't gonna roll your eyes when you see their text or see their phone call.
yeah.
Everybody nodding their head right. I know exactly what I'm talking about.
That's good.
But Jose is one of those guys that I look forward to when he calls. We argue on text.
Yeah, we have this weird text.
We have miscommunication on text where I just, man, what are you trying to say? Then I just call him.
Yeah.
But there's not one time with Jose that I don't look forward to seeing him. And when I say I love you, I legitimately mean it.
Yeah.
And so continue, everybody, surround yourself with men and family and company that you're able to do that with.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
those are your flowers.
I appreciate it, man. I'm receiving those flowers, man. And Patrick, man, I also want to say thank you for you, man, for stepping into this arena, man. This arena of Sharpen. Like, man, he showed up once, he showed up twice, got him on the third time, and now he's a co-host.
I would say it was out of love, but it was part of his hustle.
It was out of love.
Yeah.
God was sending the right people to stay in the studio with me, and man, we're just excited because 2025 is around the corner, and we're ideologing, if that's really a word, but we're thinking of ideas to talk about what's going on here with Sharpen and what 2025 is going to look like for Journeyman. But man, we are closing out the year with one last gathering, and that is November 30th. If you have your
November
phone,
30th,
we will be taking a walk, and depending on weather. So if it's not raining and pouring, and just put some walking shoes So you can walk off the Thanksgiving turkey. We'll be gathering on Saturday, November 30th in Modesto, about a 3 mile walk, which probably take us maybe less than an hour or so. But it's just another space for men to connect, and we're going to close out the year with that as far as journeyman events go, and kind of dialogue for 2025, and see what that's going to look like. But man, we're excited about 2025, man. The Brotherhood Builder Symposium is going to be off the hook. I think that was something that we learned that there's a need for, and then the smaller gatherings that we will continue to have and create spaces for men. And again, if you're looking to launch this in your region, man, we would love to partner with you and be able to share what we've learned, and kind of help you launch that in your region, and just journey with you alongside that. We would love to do that. But one thing I want to close out with is I'm just super thankful for my family. I'm thankful that they're on this journey with me. I'm thankful for my beautiful wife and my two boys. And then, man, I'm just thankful for all the journeymen who have stepped into the arena of getting better in the areas of faith, family, community. So we'll see you next month. We'll have a Christmas special, and we'll close out our last podcast of the year with a Christmas special. So stay tuned to that. Make sure you follow us on all our social media pages. Journeyman is on Facebook. We have if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe notification button, smash it, like it, tap it, whatever you want to do. But if you're on Instagram, we at Journeyman Nation, all one word, Journeyman, MEN Nation, all one word. And we have a website, www.journeymannation.com. We have access. So reach out if you have any questions or you want to engage. And we will look forward to seeing you in December. Happy Thanksgiving, men. Have a blessed day. Make sure you be thankful for the little things. Be thankful for the little things. All right.
God bless you guys.
Bless you.
Love you. Good night.
But today we must take a wider look. Because of modern communication and modern technology, the whole world has become our neighborhood. And we are demographically moving closer and closer to each other, and we've become a neighborhood without becoming a brotherhood.
Journeyman is a platform where men can lay down their titles, grow together, learn from each other, and be accountable to each other. Many of us deal with several problems throughout our lives, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. At times, we may feel alone in our troubles. However, Journeyman is a space where you can feel safe expressing yourself with other men that are on the same path. Journeyman is a space for people like myself who never thought they would be living purposefully in their life.